As an American, one have been asking myself, am I being pranked? Every day in the news we witness or hear about a story of our freedom being taken away. From a president that is a pathological liar and inspiring dictator, to a sitting Republican Utah Senator Mike Lee who state that democracy isn't the objective. This is the actual tweet for the Republican Utah Senator Mike Lee.
Democracy isn't the objective, liberty, peace, and prosperity are. We want the human condition to flourish. Rank democracy can thwart that.
I think the senator might need to borrow a dictionary. He further explained himself on an article at the Washington Examiner. This is what he explained.
The whole idea of having a constitution itself, particularly a constitution that establishes a constitutional republic like ours, is materially different and distinct from a democracy. A constitutional republic helps protect minority groups.
Basically, if the white race ever become a minority, I feel that we are being pranked and we are in the MTV sitcom show, Punk'd. There's an article in Medium written by Umair Haque titled, "Are These the Last 25 Days of American Democracy?" Yes, I have been questioning this. Since Republican from the Senate didn't impeach the criminal-in-chief and remove him from the White House. A quote from the article.
The more desperate that Trump gets, the more egregious his transgressions become. The latest, as he plummets in the polls, is to call for his opponents to be prosecuted and indicted. That's straight out of the authoritarian's playbook.
Unless Bill Barr indicts these people for crimes, the greatest political crime in the history of our country, then we're going to get little satisfaction unless I win, and we'll just have to go, because I won't forget it. But these people should be indicted. This was the greatest political crime in the history of our country, and that includes Obama, and it includes Biden. These are people that spied in my campaign, and we have everything. Now they say they have much more, okay? And I say, Bill, we got plenty. You don't need any more. We got so much, Maria. Even just take a look at the Comey report, 78 pages of kill, done by Horowitz. And I have a lot of respect for Horowitz, and he said prosecute. He recommended prosecute, and they didn't prosecute. I couldn't believe it, but they didn't do it because they said we have much bigger fish to fry. Well, that's okay. They indicted Flynn for lying, and he didn't lie. They destroyed many lives. Roger Stone over nothing. They destroyed lives. So look at Manafort. They sent in a black book that was a phony black book. Phony. They made up a black book of cash that he got from Ukraine or someplace. And he didn't get any cash. It was a phony book. What they've done to people,
Brennan, John, we're going to have Carter Page coming on. He's going to tell his story, and we just heard from George Papadopoulos. Their lives have been completely changed. John Brennan briefed President Obama on this. What else is needed to ensure that the American people understand what took place, trampling on American people's rights and liberties before the election?
Look, we have all the evidence in the world. In addition to that, I released everything, every document. I don't care what it pertains to. I released everything. I've declassified. I'm the only one in the country that has the power to do that. I've declassified everything. I did it a year ago, actually, for Bill Barr. I declassified.
We know if Trump doesn't win the election, he is going to contest the result. And that is why having a Republican majority in the Supreme Court is dangerous. With Amy Coney Barrett, to do Trump political favor. The article further explained the possible outcome of a court decision.
Trump has long understood that he is unlikely to win the election outright. That the majority of Americans don't back him. They didn't the first time around, remember. That's no mere coincidence. It is the culmination of a trend. The same happened with George W. Bush. And it was an ominous sign of things to come. America's ranked as a flawed democracy precisely because its obscure, electoral college system at this point, a remnant of slavery and segregation, designed to empower wealthy landowners, stands against the wishes of the majority, who want a society more like Canada or Europe than the failed state of Texas. And so what has developed over the last few months, and over the last several decades, with the GOP, is what looks like a sophisticated, complex strategy to thwart democracy itself and steal the election.
The path to America current pre-authoritarian. Supreme Court handed the win to Bush for the second term. President Obama bailed bank and not the people. Republican dismissed Trump impeachment in 2016. Around the world, America has been the bully with their endless war, cruelty, and brutality. To Trump creating human right violation of immigrant children, refugees, Jews, Muslims, and every non-white American. The article compare the rise and the fall of the Soviet Union. The economy of Soviet Union stagnated for 30 years. The economy of America has been stagnated for 50. An empire in the verge of collapse. School shooting. Medical bankruptcy, like a 50,000 medical bills for child. Mass debt. National debt is currently at $27 trillion and counting. Student debt alone is $1.7 trillion. Rising suicide. Mass distrust, thanks to Trump with lies that has normalized indifference, despair, and rage. Trump has enticed so many from his cult to act violently. The average American is in deficit of $62,000. That's why majority of American is living paycheck to paycheck. The article explain.
What happens to societies where people die in mass debt? Debts they have never been able to repay. When entire generations fall prey to that failure, they implode into authoritarianism and/or fascism. That is precisely the story of Weimar Germany, after all. It's also the story of post-Soviet Russia. And the story of the Islamic world. Why? What is the connection between a collapsing economy and an imploding society? Trust is. If you can't make ends meet, no matter how hard you try, you live a life of panic, despair, fatalism, nihilism. You are perpetually angry, a human pistol with a hair trigger, ready to lash out. You have been denied the basics, and with them go peace of mind. And with all that goes trust. You being to grow suspicious of your neighbors, who were once friends. Now everyone is just a rival in a bitter, desperate battle for survival. Tribe turns on tribe, group on group. Atop it all stride elites, grinning, satisfied. Because now the masses are too weak to even act for themselves. The bonds between them have been severed. And so no collective action is possible. A society dies, this way, an economy collapses. And takes trust with it. Which produces a political implosion. By way of social disintegration.
Takeaway from this article is that history is repeating itself because people fail to learn. from Germany, Russia, Islamic, Greek, and Roman. All fail because of massive debt, distrust in government, creating dysphoria, from Republican senator enabling Trump is like Trump is using history for his advantage, while the majority, which is the middle class, pay the price. The moral of the story is only the people can save himself from this catastrophe. Thank you for watching. Please, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video with your friend and family.